time I'm going to use the oils again. The oils I was just using on that street musician scene. While I've got them left over, I might as well use a small canvas, and I'm going to prime this canvas black as I've done here to work the colours directly on Alla Primer Impasto. And we'll try this little scene here of the boats. We've already got a very dark background, but I want to really play with some colour in this as well, so I'm going to bring more blues and so on into this. Very loosely painted again, same technique, just putting one colour next to another, almost in a cubist way, almost in a Cézanne way, and finding these shapes like a jigsaw and just letting them form the boats as we go along, having fun, being nice and loose. Now the first thing with this composition is that this paper is slightly more rectangular than the canvas, and if I put the picture into this corner and then go diagonally down through to the other corner, I'll find that where it meets here will be about there. So this composition is going to fit in within there. All I've got to do is extend it downwards a little bit. So I'm just going to take my little round pointy brush and a little bit of colour, a little bit of oil. I'll just mark off where that's coming, just so I know what I'm doing. It makes a change, doesn't it? Come down through here to there. So where that comes through from that angle to that angle and meets here, that's the scale of it. Don't need much on there. And then I know that the rest of it's going to be working within this scale. If I mark that into quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go from there. And then if I come down, that same position, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That boat comes just on halfway here, so I know now that my boat is going to be somewhere around here. This is this piece here. Just to give me a basic guide, okay? Comes down and round, down to the quarter here is about where that comes there. So just a little mark, just so I know where I'm going. That one finishes about a third of the way down here, so it's about there. I'll come back in with the dark colours in a minute. Let's just get this marked out. About, well, let's see, halfway here is it? 1, 2, put some more touch on the brush. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is just a guide. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that mast comes down from here, just inside here, like that angle. So I know that's where that mast is going to come, which means that boat is coming round there. The brush comes around like that. The actual boat is a nice gentle curve here. The boom coming out there, all the way down. Let's see now, the halfway was here. So just beyond halfway, so about here, if I bring that angle down the same, just so I know where I am. Then the bow of the boat comes out and down, in and round. A lovely curved shape happening right down low to there, up to here. So it comes out in a nice curve. All these things are beautiful. Boats are nearly always lovely curves like this. Make them flow almost like a waterfall. At the top of that, going up there. Just going to draw this out a little bit, just so I know where I'm going. Sometimes I don't bother, but with boats it's a bit more awkward. There we go. That comes from about there. We've got a triangle here. It's easy to go over these colours in a minute. Down there. Thickness of that mast. Just a quick sketch with the brush. Down to there. And the other boat coming in behind it. Let's see, about that far in. Yes, it's just beyond halfway, so about here. The other boat comes in there. And if we made our halfway marks across here, halfway, quarter, quarter, it's just let's see, it's about a third of the way down, so we make the marks here, halfway. Just need little bits of colour back there to make that work after that. The last there, and then the jetty finishes just down through here. That's it. Now I should be able to paint that. We'll take a nice bit of cadmium orange over here, and we'll just blend that back in. Now if I use a bit more terps, I can use it a bit like watercolour. I can thin it down, drag it across and through the canvas, so that the canvas is just showing through semi-transparently. So we can use it either thickly or thinly. Right down through here. And I can start to link my colours into it, so I'm going to take a little bit of chrome yellow and mix that in. You see I'm using it a bit thinly at the moment, to gradually dry off on the canvas. If I want to paint more opaque paint, I can take it a bit thicker and blend in over the top of that, mix in, take some heavier paint, actually mix it in, look, down there. And we're painting with this method of, the jigsaw method of painting by numbers almost. We just put the right colours and the right shapes in the right places, and all of this should gradually come together. I want to put a little bit bluer, so I'm going to take some blue and add it to that brown. Take some ultramarine and just make that a bit browner, just a bit more of a bluey brown. So we get this sort of colour here. When I've got that cadmium bed on my brush, I'm just going to take a bit of it and go around these lights here like this. And get the idea of the sort of halo or haze that we've got around the lights above the key here. Nice and soft. That gets darker still. That comes down almost to the that skin up here. A slight green tint in between, so I'm just going to give that a slight haze in there. Now we'll start on the boat itself. Let's start putting some colour in here. We just paint where we have the colour on our brush, I'll put it on. And if we just put the right colours in the right places, look what starts to happen. It's all rather fun. It's a lovely way to paint. Now we need the yellow along here. I'm going to paint the mixture of chrome and lemon all the way along here for a moment. That'll be a bit bright, we'll soften it down in a moment. Yellow's always, I think in almost any paint I know, yellow's always a little bit thin, and it tends to be a bit transparent at first. Yellow ochre, and just soften it with that in places. which will make one seam more yellow and the other one seem more gold. And now I'm going to go back to the orange that we used earlier, the cadmium orange, and add a little bit of that into places as well, to really get a nice glow before I come back and go much lighter with the yellows. Now take that yellow and some white. Now we'll take some of the yellow again and we'll drag that down. I'm going to use a bit more of the canvas texture now. It's going to drag it gently across here, all the way down, this yellow. So drag it down, letting the canvas do the work, leaving the texture behind the canvas, like that. Using the brush sideways, all the way down. The same the other side. Just flick this deep chrome yellow out. Just highlight a little bit down below. Now our white again, with a little bit of the yellow in. Come down below here, and we're going to do these little horizontal strokes across, right down the middle. Same down here. All the way down. We could slab it right down the middle like that and then break it out. And come down and with the white, just little flicks coming out here and there to give the sparkle. The very tip of our brush. Start to put them in. When you've got colour on your brush, if you see it somewhere else, go put it in. Hopefully you can see this is beginning to form now already. This is a Mediterranean scene in France, but actually it looks quite like an Egyptian one, doesn't it? We'll be there shortly. You'll be sharing that with me if you want, because I'll be filming when I'm over there in Egypt in only a few days now. There's a little bit of pink in it, that's what we've got to do. We just have to match the colours. You can strengthen them if you want, get them in the right places and the right shapes. Look at the warms and the cool versions of them. You can see I'm changing down to a bit of yellow ochre now into this, and I'm going to go back into my pinks a bit more, adding a little bit of rose into it. Just blending as I go along. Now I want to come down into my yellow ochre more. And we get these lovely colours blending one into another. Lots a bit of blue into it. So that's the yellow ochre with a bit more blue, and just a little touch of the warm to give us that nice cooler brown there, grey brown. How quickly we can paint something like this once we establish colour, once we really look to see what the colours are. So we can gradually work up this effective light, night time, harbour lights, only just able to see by them, and watch for the difference between the colours, the difference between the oranges and the greens and the... It doesn't matter if we're exact, as long as we approximate. We're as near as damn it with the colours, it doesn't really matter. And then very quickly, as you can see, our picture will appear on pure viridian here now to get the greens and the shadows. Really look for colour. And while we've got that green on the brush, We need to look at the background here. It has a lovely sort of green tint to it as well, coming through here. I'll put a little bit more yellow with that in just a moment. The greens in around the reflections of the light here. And this painting is well on the way to completion. Don't need an awful lot in it. And with a few strokes we can bring it all together. I'm going to take the Prussian blue, my darkest, just to darken up these sort of areas. And hopefully suddenly now you can see a boat appearing. So all the underpainting has been done really, hasn't it? It's now just a matter of continuing to add these colours, tinting in and how to get the full effect of these lovely golds and yellows that we've got here. And by subtly mixing our colours we should be able to gradually get all of these pinks and oranges and so on. So now we're looking at a very, very light blue to green, coming through into this cream. A little bit of pink in it in a minute as well, just to really give it a vibrance. So we're now playing these very light cools just against the warmer colours. Well, there we are. Painting's just taking just over an hour and I'm virtually there. That's what I want to do really, just to get this nice little effect of the walk on the harbour south of France in summer. Now, when you make a light colour, always put your white first, don't put the colour first, you'll end up with a gallon. I need a very light pink here, just to brighten up these yellow reflections and to bring out the colour to them. Down here, see the difference just one colour can make. Like this. It can really bring things alive. At half light at night time you get the artificial light. Hopefully you can almost hear the water slurping around the boats. All you need is just to sign it.